Hey you guys, happy Thursday instead of Wednesday. Just want to say thank you to all of you who sent messages of hoping that I feel better, because I do. And I'm ready to deliver a message to you called Comparison 2.0, because I know I've talked about this before and I am sure that we can all use a message on it for the second times and many times. So, first, I want to give a couple shout outs. One to my sweet cousin Becky, who just had a baby last night named Ruby Lynn, and she's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so excited for her. The second one is to my stepdaughter, who is graduating next week and is going to the University of Arizona, which is why I'm sporting my Bear Down shirt, because I can't wait to go visit her, and my little brother, who in fact goes there too. So, those are my shout outs. Let's talk about comparison. So this message was a theme at our church service last weekend, and it's really been kind of running through my mind ever since. And I always want to give you guys truth and, I guess, peace in this world that wants us to keep comparing. Because guess what? You are always going to be set up for comparison. I don't care what stage you are in life. I don't care if you are a high schooler going to college, a college graduate, a 30-something, a 40-something, a mom, a single woman, a grandmother, a working mom. I don't care. We all deal with it as we walk through this world. So I'm just going to give you a little strength on how to deal with this and a couple pointers. So I want you to think about where you struggle with it most in your life today. There's kind of two parts to this message. One is for moms and one is for students/graduates. Now, moms are under attack by the enemy when it comes to comparison. And I see this especially as a stepmom, because I already have what the world would consider kind of, not the perfect situation, because I am not the real mom, I'm the stepmom. But so what it gives me is kind of an outside perspective, where I don't have to beat myself up, but I can also see it differently. So I was at something last week where I was surrounded by all these moms who I could see as, oh, they're the perfect mom, they're the perfect mom. And I know that they're not. I know that all of us have our own issues. But what I need to do is get inside and get to where my value is and in who values me. And I already know who that is, and that's God. It takes a while to get there, but I can tell you, when you sit in that space and not compare, you're going to trust that He's got your value. I think about it with working moms, stay-at-home moms. I mean, that's a whole area where we can compare ourselves to others. And you know what? It's not worth it. We are all on our own path. God created us with the skills and the gifts of who we are. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you're a working mom. And you're just trying to balance it in your own way. And God give you props, because it's hard work. I know it's hard work. And whenever you think comparison, just call it out and go, okay, I am on my journey. Let me focus. God, help me focus. The other one for graduates, so many of you are are starting a new journey or going out into the world, and it's, all new to you. And you're going to see people that are, shall we say, moving faster at things than you. I talk to lots of young people about this. Well, she has the right job. She has the right husband. She has this. I need to have the whole package now. Yeah. The whole package doesn't all work out perfectly. Another thing, God has His own time in creating how our life falls into place. So girls, young people, just chillax. Take life as it comes. Take every dream. Take every, take it for what it is, enjoy it, get excited about it, but also understand that you are not in charge. And that's a good thing. You may not know that yet, but it's a good thing, I promise. And the other thing is I was thinking this morning that my sweet cousin had her baby, and I could easily go into wishing that I was having a child right now, which my husband and I really would love to have a child. But it's so cool because it really shows me the power of God in my life, because I'm so excited for her, and I'm amazed that I'm not comparing. I'm amazed that I don't have to have that, because that's her life and I'm psyched for her. I can be where I'm at and trust God's timing. And it doesn't mean that, that sweet little unhealthy voice of comparison doesn't want to go, wow, you should be there. And it's like, that's why it's so important for me to call it out and go, no, God, I trust you. I don't trust that voice. So here's my thing. This is where you got to call it out. Wherever you're getting into that ickiness of comparison, I want you to call it out and make a choice, because we have a choice. We have two choices. One, we can think about that God's got a plan for us and a purpose for us, and He's given us gifts, given us gifts that are uniquely ours. Or, oh, God's got a plan for her, and her plan, the plan He's putting in her life should be what I have. I need to have that, and she looks really good with it. I need to have that. Like, seriously, people think about that. How much do we do that? I don't care what it is, material things. Like, does that really make sense? Like, I need to have what they're having. No, it's God's got a good plan for you. Could you just trust Him? So, I mentioned to you that the world is always going to tell you that you have to compare yourselves to others. And this is why it's so important to do one thing. Get to know God. Get to know who God says you are, and get to know how much He loves you. Jump in the Word. Don't think you have to do it some perfect way. Just jump in the Word and find out who He says you are, and give it the time that it takes, because He wants you to know who you are to Him, even though you want to, sorry, I'm looking up the verses I want to use, even though you want to beat the crap out of yourself. Yeah, that's not what God wants to do. So, excuse me, Mom. Okay, so there's a couple verses I want to give you to maybe help you get in the Word. So take these and pull out the Bible app or pull out a Bible and look at these. The first is Romans 12:2. I'm using the New Living Translation. And I'm reading these because I did not grow up in a place where you have all the Bible memorized. I'm still in the process of learning. Don't copy, and I'm using the New Living Translation because I like this version of this verse. Don't copy the behavior and customs of the world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. John 16:33, NIV. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. How awesome is that? Hebrews 12:2 NIV. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, for the joy set before Him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. He is the author and perfecter of our faith. So when we have faith, we trust in that faith, and we walk in that faith. And the more we walk in that faith and trust Him, the less we compare. I am telling you, I do it less and less and less because I know Him more and more. So, just to go a little deeper in this, one of the things that our pastor did on Sunday with the message was he talked about where the roots of our comparison come from. And guess where they come from? Great middle school and high school. He kept talking about how that's where these brew and how that's where, we get the seed of it, and where we have these insecurities that kind of latch onto, comparison. And immediately as he said it, I was brought right back to my childhood when it was like, oh, let me just name those two. Weight. My parents' divorce. I swear those were always the things that I was comparing. Like, well, it's because my parents are divorced. It's because I have weight, especially when it came to boys and stuff in high school. But I have learned that that's not what God wants. So one of the other things it did is brought me to when I was in college. And he said, man, he had this comparison thing for like over 20 years. And I thought, oh boy, do I get that. I could see myself walking onto Notre Dame's campus just going, oh, I'm the only one whose parents are divorced. I'm the only one who struggles with weight. I doubt that. And we were always looking at the lack. We're always looking at where we're disadvantaged, and that's why God wants us to know Him, so we can see how He sees us, so we're not walking around going, here's my disadvantage, here's where I'm the victim. No, He wants us to be the victor, and He wants us to see that all those things that we see as disadvantages are things that He is going to use as advantages. He is going to use those things where we have been broken or where we've struggled to help someone else. And I can tell you it's true because he's done it in me. And to me, that's the greatest thing. If he can use me to reach someone like you through my struggle, then it's all because of him. It's I'm all for it, because it is so not about me just feeling comfortable. It's about him using me and carrying me through the struggles and the victories to show his glory. So, last thing I'm going to say is, I think you've already said it a couple times, but the best thing you can do is get to know who God says you are and not think it has to be some perfect way of doing it. Just get in the Word and maybe Google the word love and just jump in the Bible and say, wow, look at all these ways that he loves me. So as you go through this week, as you keep going, maybe you've got events coming up where there's going to be ways for you to compare. Just remember what I said. I give a choice. I get to compare, or I get to trust that God's got a plan for my life, and it is a good plan because I can see all the ways that it has been good. I just have to look for them. So, okay. I think that's about it. I hope you guys run over to my blog because I have this written out a little more, but I've also got a couple articles that I found when I was doing this, and a couple music videos, and then the sermon from our service on Sunday. So, okay. You guys have a good week, and I will see you next week. I will be at a Women's Entrepreneurship Summit, and I have a friend who I used to envy that will be there, and I'm really hoping that she and I can do a little, or at least I can talk about her and talk about how I used to envy her, because she's a total light, and I'm so pumped for what God's doing in her life. But it's going to be really cool because it's just going to be cool. So, all right, I have been going for 12 minutes. I'm going to stop now. Okay, guys, have a good week. Bye-bye.